So in reference to Volume 3 of The Adventures of Susan MeeLing, Scuba Diver Extraordinaire, that's me, chapters 10 through 20, written by me, Susan MeeLing, Reverend Susan MeeLing, Lady Dori, Belle, the one and only person who ever completed that scuba dive. Again, going back to, in reference to the USNS Vandenberg. In regards to my scuba diving gear, obviously my DNA would be in the regulator as well as the hose. Now the hose that was taken, that was associated or connected to the scuba diving gear that had been on that U-Haul truck that was going from Irving, Texas to San Antonio, Texas, but wound up being confiscated or impounded or however, because I was told by the moving company that I had found online that there was a police stop for that particular U-Haul truck, and then it was impounded. And then nobody gave me the information of where to contact, nor pick up my stuff, and U-Haul didn't contact me, but I did receive a letter later on saying that it was sold for $801, which is kind of ironic when you think about the San Antonio Fiesta thing in that regard. But point being, now that I have already discussed the points in regards to the specifics of the mathematical aspects, I'm going to discuss the points of when the snorkeling essentially had ended. Because after surfacing and after being taken from where I was picked up at, and granted, I was still in my scuba gear, so they did not see any of my tattoos. The only thing that they saw was my face and my hair. And yes, this part is waxed in comparison, but the wispies are the same, the very similar haircut minus the waxing. Once again, waxing started after winding up in Washington State. That shouldn't have occurred, but there's that targeting and that whole thing. But also, in reference to a few other things that were on that particular U-Haul truck, because according to what I was told, even though I saw plenty of room, the company that I had hired for the moving did not pack the truck that I ordered for, I think it was a 24-foot truck, and they didn't pack it from the floor to the ceiling. They packed it only halfway, but then said they couldn't utilize all that space above, which didn't make any sense to me, but the movers did not want to explain that, and they had already put all my stuff on the truck that they could fit in there, and then had to go to the U-Haul company afterwards. So, after surfacing and the whatever the other ship was that reeled me in with that guy on the buoy, and then the Starfish Enterprise came and picked me up to go back onto that ship. They obviously saw my tattoos. Now, granted, I didn't have the sleeve at the time, nor did I have this particular floral design, but there is still a golden yellow symbol that is underneath here that I can actually see. And the lavender peony flower that is underneath the spiritual symbol and prayer, that was there The dragonfly was there, this was there, that was there, and obviously that was there, as well as the ones that you can see on my back. And then the Methuselah tattoo is the most recognizable, I would guesstimate, in comparison, at least for a female, right? So after the dive masters had said, go snorkel, maybe that'll help calm your stomach. Okay, I'll go do that. Maybe I can find my scuba diving buddy. And so I searched on the surface of the water while snorkeling in attempts to find the person that I was assigned to. And I do not think I was wearing my scuba diving suit when I was snorkeling. If I'm not mistaken. Probably not, which would mean from satellite imagery, they would have probably, if they could not zoom in on those particular tattoos, they would have seen my, from the back. I'll take the camera real quick and verify that. They would have seen that tattoo and that tattoo. With the aspects of satellite imagery from above, seeing, or at least a variation of, because of the water aspects. So anybody, again, that would attempt to take credit for my dive would not be able to. Not legitimately. And again, I know I'll survive. I obviously did it once. If there's an individual that claims wrongly that they did my dive, then they wouldn't have a problem going and dropping down, right? I mean, I have no problem doing it. Obviously, since I survived. Anyway, so in that regard, when the individual that I was assigned to finally got on the ship, I was extremely upset. First, I was concerned about the safety, but then I got pissed, got very angry, because when he had gotten on the ship, he had followed a group of 3 individuals, one female and 2 males. Both of the males were brunettes. The female was a brunette. She had kind of curly hair. Then there was the male. He was older than me, and I think he was in his 60s, if I'm not mistaken, at the time. And so I waited until everybody was seated on the Starfish Enterprise. And then when who was assigned to me turned around and looked at me, I said, "And where were you?" And he said, "Oh my God, what are you doing here?" And I said, "I'm standing here and breathing and wondering why you are the last person to get on this ship." And the individual said, "Well, I went on with that group, the tour guide, with the 2 others." And I said, "But according to regulation, you're supposed to, if you can't find your buddy, you're supposed to surface. Why didn't you surface until now?" Do you understand how many people you put at risk? And the guy looked at me and he was like, well, I didn't want to waste my dive. I just joined along with the others. And I said, so you joined a tour guide group that didn't know you were going to be on the tour? And he said, yes. I said, so you not only put the tour guide at risk, but you also put those two people at risk. Then, on top of which, you put the entire ship at risk for all of the people that are on here, not forgetting the fact that you put everyone in the vicinity at risk because you didn't want to waste a scuba dive. And he said, well, yeah. And you don't see anything wrong with that at all? And the guy looked at me and he was like, oh my God, no. So then I started chewing into him. Then I started going, just those who have military and law enforcement backgrounds know what I mean when I said and wrote, I started chewing into him. And I will acknowledge that I probably made certain training chewing out look like a fluffy little bunny. Those who were in the vicinity could probably attest to that. And despite the fact that that male was much taller than me, we were nose to nose. And after I finished chewing him out, I told him to get out of my sight because the sight of him disgusted me and I was infuriated. And he had asked, well, what did you do? And I said, how did you not see me at the bottom of the ocean? I have a red ladybug neoprene head cover. I understand now. And white scuba fins. Nobody else here has pure white scuba fins. How did you not see those at the bottom of the ocean? Again, now I understand. Back then I did not. Back then I did not at all. However, I know what it is. Chewed him out. He went to the bow of the ship and just curled up into the fetal position and kept saying, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I was like, yes, I am. So, the point being, that doesn't change the fact that you put a whole bunch of people at risk that needlessly had to be put at risk. Because what he did not understand, not only as far as the safety aspects of the various individuals on that ship, but also the Coast Guard that would have had to come out, and or the Marine Corps, and or the Navy. Not forgetting all of the people on that ship, if they only had a certain amount of medication, they would have had to stay until they were cleared to go. Then, not forgetting all of the people, whether or not they had children, like I did, waiting back wherever they were from. And then babysitters or family members and all that sort of stuff. Just all those various different points. And he just, I can't believe it. Yeah. So then I looked over at the dive master and I was like, so? And he just was like, yes. I do not want that piece of garbage as my dive buddy any further. I demand a new dive buddy. And he looked at me and he said, well, I do not doubt that there is anybody on this ship that would not want to be your dive buddy, especially at this point in time. I think that every single scuba diver on this ship would prefer to be your dive buddy, but there is a problem. What is that? Somebody has to be his dive buddy. Uh-huh. And the dive master goes, I do not think anybody would trade to be his dive buddy. And I was like, looked around at everyone on the ship, and everyone went, I was like, all right, well, you know what? When it's time to get ready to go in the water, we're going to talk. And he just kept going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Yeah, get over it. Yes, hello. Been here a while. You know, waiting for you to surface and stuff like that. So, after the surface interval, the dive mat, or as the surface interval was getting closer to an end, the dive master let everyone on the ship know that to get ready. And I looked over at who was my assigned dive buddy, and I'm like, get over here now. Came over, and I was like, so if you are more than 1 arm length from me, do you see, because I already had put my scuba gear on and I had all my different knives. I was like, you see all of my gear on with the exception of my BCD? And he was like, yes. I'm like, okay, so you see this knife? Yes. You see that knife? Yes. You see these 2 knives? Yes. That doesn't take into consideration all of the knives on my BCD. Okay. So you are not going to be more than 1 arm's length away from where I'm at. Because if I have to turn around and see that you are not within 1 arm's length from me, I can swim very fast and you will become shark chum. Do I make myself clear? Absolutely clear. Good. Now tell me, why were you not descending? And he said, well, I don't understand what you mean. What do you mean descending? I watched you climbing downward. Why were you doing that on the mooring line? Why didn't you just do a free descent? And he looked at me and he said, I don't know what a free descent is. What do you mean you don't know what a free descent is? You talked to me with an attitude for only doing the majority of my scuba dives in the state of Texas. And you don't know what a free descent is? Are you kidding me? And he was just like, no, I didn't learn that. What do you mean you didn't learn how to do a free descent? Who is your scuba diving group that taught you and allowed you to be certified? And you don't know what a free descent is. He was like, Naui. I'm like, oh, I doubt that Naui does not teach free descents. I doubt that. I highly doubt that. And the guy was just like, well, you know what? You're going to learn. You're going to learn what a free descent is today. And what do you mean? Because you're not going to be allowed to use the mooring line. That's why. Well, what do you mean? That means you're not going to climb downwards. You're going to drop. And you're going to stay within an arm's length of me. And unless you are having actual medical concerns, you're not going to bother me, because I wound up wasting a scuba dive because of you. Because you didn't even have the decency to have any concern for anybody else. So, you will be no further than 1 arm's length from me. Do I make myself clear? Yeah, yeah. So I put my BCD with my tank on. Get your gear on. Why are you standing there looking like a fool? Get up and get your stuff on. We're about to go in the water. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. And everybody on the ship was just like, eh, it sucks to be that guy. I really kind of want to be like her dive buddy, but sucks to be him. Glad I didn't piss her off. It's like, yeah, you don't know the half of it. So, you know, get in the water. We dropped down. Magically, he knew how to do a free descent. Made our way around the ship at only 60 ATMs. And then, you know, he signaled to me that he was getting low on air. Alright, fine. So then, you know, went for the safety stop. And then we surfaced. And then he was like, I'm gonna breathe. I don't want to hear you complain. Really? You're gonna try to complain now? And he was like, well, you swam so fast. And do you really want to have that discussion? He was like, no, never mind. I'm like, okay. So then, you know, I took off my BCD because we were at that point on the ship. And he goes, can I look at your depth, your computer stuff? He goes, how did you not go through that much air? I was like, because I know how to breathe underwater, dumbass. It's called using the regulator. Duh. He was like, you barely used a third of the tank. Yeah. And? He goes, how much did you use when you apparently landed at the bottom of the ocean? I don't know, I'll have to hug up my gear to it. Do you need to know that? Yeah, I kind of want to know. Fine. Unscrewed, put the other one, screwed it back on. He looked at it, he was like, you went through less than half a tank and you landed at... What is the problem? Nothing. I'm just gonna go on the other side of the ship. Yeah, you stay on the other side of the ship because I'm really, really upset with you right now still. I mean, I at least got to enjoy the second dive in comparison. I mean, not that I didn't enjoy the first dive, but it would have been nice to actually, like, enjoy the entire dive instead of, you know, just part of it. And then, you know, have to surface and then wait and wait and wait for you to get your shit together. And the guy was just like, oh my God, you're so mean. What? Boy? And he goes, but I'm older than you. Jones, not with the way you're talking. You might be biologically older than me, but you sure are speaking like a little boy. And he just, oh my God. And I'm like, again, yes, hello, what is the point? Nothing, I'm just gonna get my gear ready. So that way when it's time to get off the ship, I can go. Oh, okay. Fine. Can you do it in a different area so I don't have to look at you? Oh, okay. He took his stuff, he got it together, he stayed on the other side of the ship, and it's like, I am very angry. I'm very, very angry. Because I had to keep myself under control. So, in 2 videos, I will go over the pictures. But the next video, I'm going to discuss certain aspects. Although, let me see the time and maybe I can fit it. No, next video.